Good morning, friends, wherever you are. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. And of course, I'm Ben Ochart. And for those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much. And we have a lot to go over today. Just looking at some of the comments, and Peas and Haps Forever. Hello, Peas and Haps Forever. I'm glad you're here. Hope you're having a good time too. And the Daily Dose is here. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Tomorrow, that's going to be great for all you moms. And the Daily Dose. I love these names, by the way. You know I do. Okay. John Wallace. Hey, John. Big shout out to all the moderators that are out there. John is doing a great job. Hey, Carrie. Carrie's here. James Green is here. And in the jeans, happy Mother's Day. Yes. Chris G. Hey, Chris G. Glad you're here. And in the jeans, did somebody answer your question about the Fluval Spray Bar? I'm sure somebody will. Hey, Naomi, H2O. I was just talking to my wife about you. I said, where has she been? I haven't seen her in a while. So, Naomi, I'm very glad to see you here. Naomi is a founding Patreon, and very appreciated, as is Elizabeth Wagner. Hey, GP, I'm glad you're here. Chris G is here. Pickaxe, P-I-C-K-A-X-E, Pickaxe, hello to you. Oh, these names. Oink Master Forever, hello. It's okay, you can be in and out. And Paul Bowen is here. Hey, Paul. And Solar King Ronnie. Boy, some great folks are here. R. Baglio, Angelo Milig, Garrett DeVos. A great name. Fish Ranch is here. And I'm Alive 12. I'm Alive 12. Ben, have you decided on what you're going to do with the plumbing in the sump? Stay tuned. You're going to get an answer today. And Bob H is here. Chicago. I used to love going to Chicago when I was on the road, by the way. Hey, Frank. Frank is here. Frank participates quite heavily at the Ben O' Cichlid webpage or group on Facebook. And hey, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. Freddie Fingers is here. And Humble Rasta, Todd Hobson, Norris Williams, Ryan Smith. All right, let's get going. I'll read names forever. So glad all of you are here and spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. And a couple real quick announcements before we get going. The folks over at All Powers. Do you remember I did that review of this unit? Which I love, by the way. Love this unit. Run some big canister filters on several tanks in the event of a power outage. But they're having some type of a drawing. All Powers. Just go to their website. It's under the original video. All Powers, and check out their some raffle. They're giving away one of these 300 units. So they contacted me and say, can you please tell people we're having a raffle? Also, if I sent you some Sarah, please let me know. Send me an email to ben.o.cichlid. Let me know how your fish are taking to the Sarah. And the folks at Sarah asked for some feedback. And so let me know. Send me an email. And we'll do the same thing today. Any super chat over $10, I'm going to send you out some Sarah food. Good stuff, scientifically tested and proven. And any super chat, we'll just play it forward for $10 or more to cover shipping, and I'll send you some Sarah. Any super chat over 20, I'll give you my special blend. I'll send you a baggie. All legal, and it consists of some Sarah, some Piscean Energetics, some Extreme, and I mix it all up. And it can't be too much because there's different moisture levels. Someone pointed out that you don't want to mix foods with different moisture levels. I get it, but it's it's a big enough sample to make a difference, but small enough so that not really going to create any kind of mold issue or anything. So any super chat over 20, I'll get that out to you. Just be sure to send me your address and your full name and address to the ben.o.cichlid at gmail.com. Okay, so let's see here. Let's close that, Sarah. I have a special video for you. A video that I made for this live stream. I like to do that sometimes, and that way I can make sure to have all my thoughts in order and not finish the live stream and say, oh, I forgot to talk about blah, blah, blah. I've got a video for you, so I'll be spinning that up in a second. Hey, Oscar. First live chat. Welcome. Welcome, my friend. And Norris Williams and Ryan Smith. And what a great group of people. And talking about a great group of people, let me do a real quick shout out here to my members of the Patreon group members, which are rolling over my face there. And these are folks that are helping on a monthly basis to continue the expansion of the garage. You folks are very, very appreciated. From $3 on up. We have some new ones. I think we mentioned Brett before, Brett Thorpe. Robert Wardell and Robert Gribben are brand new. And so if your name is Robert, you have to become a Patreon. Apparently that is that's required if your name is Robert. So, but thank you, Patreons. You are awesome. And I just wanted to go ahead and give them a shout out. And those of you who would like to support the channel, consider using the Amazon link to do your Amazon shopping. And also pick up mugs and t-shirts and all kinds of good stuff at Teespring. And all of that helps. Just got to throw that out there because I got to pay the bills. Let's go ahead and officially start this live stream. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Look at that, 44,980. We have 20 subs away from 45,000. How cool is that? And when I had my first 100 subs, I was just so happy, and I can't believe that we're at 44,980. So 20 away from 45. Maybe we'll get it during this live stream. What do you say? So hit that sub button if you can, if you're new, and I really appreciate it. Also, a big shout out to the Cichlid Shack, one of the sponsors of the channel. I will be at the Shack on the 4th of June. I'll do the live stream from 11 to 12 and 11 to 12 Central. And I guess that'll be like, 1 to 2 Pacific, I guess. No, I'm sorry, it's back. It'll be, it'll be the same time, okay? Just think in terms of the same time. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central, noon Eastern. I'll be doing the live stream from the Shack. And then after that, I'll be doing the, what am I saying there, 11 live, 11 a.m. Pacific. Oh, okay. I take all that back, forget what I said. Let me look at what I have on the screen. 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is going to be noon Mountain, 1 o'clock Central, and 2 o'clock Eastern on the 6th. I'll be doing the live stream from the Shack. And then after that, at noon Pacific, I will be there and available to speak with you in Arizona, in Tempe, at the Cichlid Shack. So big shout out to the Shack. Don't forget that Shack Attack 10 gets you 10% off on everything. And Shack Attack 15 gets you 15% off on fish. That doesn't count shipping, and that's on fish orders over $100. All right. So it looks like there were a couple super chats already, and I noticed one of them came in at $4.99. You're still gonna get. I'll still send you some food. I'll tell you what. $5 on up, you get a little bit of Sarah, and anything unless you're out of the country. You got to give me a little bit more because shipping kills me on out of the country shipments. Let me see. Hey, Robert. And it's okay. You don't have to pay a late fee, but it's appreciated. If you'd like a sample of Sarah Food, send me your full name and mailing address. Hey, Jerry. Jerry says, Janice had me doing the yard work. Hey, happy wife, happy life. And while I've got Jerry on the line, Jerry's Fish Room. Be sure to check out Jerry's Fish Room. Jerry is going to be here. I believe it's this coming Saturday, and we're going to be live streaming together. So it'll be Jerry Martin and myself, and we're going to be visiting the glass cages here in Nashville. Probably going out to dinner and having some fun. And we're going to do the live stream together on, I believe it's this coming Saturday, right, Jerry? So check out Jerry's Fish Room, and got some good stuff going on. Heard he had a setback on his angel breeding project, and sorry to hear that, Jerry. That kind of stuff happens, but hey, you'll bounce back. So what else has been going on? Oh, by the way, if you folks were sent some food, apart from letting me know that how the fish like it, you probably saw I got some new bags. Check out these bags. These are my mailers. Just a plain old plastic mailer. I wish it was padded actually, but it's a plain plastic mailer. I throw a little bit of a thin bubble wrap in it, but anyway, kind of cool. Picked it up. Who is that? That buy this stuff. Some people that make my. Hey, if you don't have stickers, you want some stickers? I got some stickers left. They're going fast. I got a few of them left. I got some glass cages ones. I've got some shack ones, and a couple of my channel ones. So if you want some stickers, just send me an email. ben.o.cichlid. Get you some stickers. No problemo. Another super chat. What's happening here? Let me see. This one came in at, hey, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. If you want some more, some Sarah, let me know. I'll get you out some. And is it pronounced Gia Aquatic and Pets? What's the different route? Is it upside down? What's the different route? Is it upside down? I don't understand that. You're going to have to elaborate on that for me. You've stumped me. So, I have a special video for you. I want to go ahead and play it. I want to get your feedback to it. And what do we have on the, how many folks are on here? Expand this one screen. 88. I don't know. What do you say? We get it up to about 100 and then we'll play the video? Because I hate people coming in and saying, hey, what did I miss? It's like when my wife and I watch a movie at home. I wake up during the titles at the end and ask, what did I miss? drives her crazy. So any questions? Let me see if you have any questions for me. Robert Egan wants some stickers. You're going to get some stickers, Robert. Be sure to note in the email that you'd like some stickers and that you did a super chat for $9.99. I'll send you some Sarah food too. Now, be sure to tell me what kind of fish you have. And I know some of you have told me this before. You've given me your mailing address, but very often I delete that stuff just for security purposes. But just be sure to send me all your complete mailing address and all that good stuff. And I will send you some stickers. I also have some of those cool glass cages ones. I didn't show you those. Same thing for you, Carrie. If you want some stickers, let me know. So let me see if there are any questions here. It's Hughes from Portugal. Hi, Hughes from Portugal. My son is near you. He's traveling between Portugal and Spain right now. and he's sending me pictures, and I'm very, very jealous. He's seeing all of Europe. Of course, he works in Dublin, so he's able to hop over and get, he'll go and ski in Switzerland and then go back to work on Monday. He's living the life. Vibes Aquatics is here, and Andrew Spark as well. Hello from South Africa. Wow, that's awesome. Let's see here. Whip Swirl, stick at it, but stay with it. Stay with it, Whip Swirl. That's not that big a gap. All right, let's see here. I'm looking for questions. See if there's any questions. Oscar, if you use just plain super glue gel, it works fine and it is fish safe. I actually had one of the special Durso, what do you call them, Durso curved tubes in my sump. It developed a little crack. Just pulled it out, ran a bead of super glue over the top of it, and cleaned it off so it was nice and smooth. Let it dry 24 hours. Back in the tank. I've glued plants to driftwood with super glue. Let them sit out for 24 hours, spraying the plants every few hours so they don't dry out on me. And then throwing them in the tank in 24 hours and they're fine. So no stress at all on the fish. Super glue gel. And I always keep some of it. I use it for a variety of reasons. And I had just picked up some more of it because I was going to glue some baffles into an acrylic tank, and the best way to do that with an acrylic tank is super glue. You don't use the normal silicone that you would use when you're gluing baffles in an acrylic tank because it's not going to stick. All right, let's see here. Looks like another what? Another Whip Swirl comes in. Sarah and stickers for the win. I'm a shy guy. Just ask Carrie. But for some food and stickers, I'll screw up my courage to speak up. Thank you, Whip Swirl. And please send me full name, full mailing address, and definitely what kind of fish that you have. I'll try and tailor to customize what I send to you. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the special video I made for you, and it's going to answer your question, Sean. What are we talking about today? And I will go ahead and start this, and then I want you folks to tell me what you think. Give me a second. I'll cue this up. Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today was supposed to be the day that I worked on the plumbing on the 300-gallon tank here to my right, but my supplier, AquaCave, one of the many different suppliers apart from Home Depot, Bulk Reef Supply, and saltwateraquarium.com, the AquaCave supplier sent me a 1.5-inch bulkhead when what I needed was a 1-inch bulkhead. So that puts that on hold. So I decided, okay, you know what? I had the day set up for that. Let me go ahead and do a long overdue upgrade to the sump and do some tweaks that I realized were needed when I started studying a little bit more, watching a few more videos on the Synergy overflow box. Watched a few more videos on that and realized a few things. And so I need to do a tweak on the 210. it's been working, it's been functioning fine, but it's sort of a fine tuning. So let me show you what I did, and also an update on some of the fish. Some of you are aware that I've had to move some fish around, and but there's one that you're not aware of. We'll talk about that too. All right, so let's go ahead and go. This is what's referred to as a bulkhead, and that's the opening that water is going to be coming back up to the 300-gallon aquarium that I'm setting up here. I wanted to replace this bulkhead. This bulkhead is called a slip bulkhead, which means that you glue the fitting on there on the inside. In other words, you would do some primer and some glue on this, and then it would go in there and it would be permanent. So if you ever want to then remove that bulkhead, there's no way you're going to get this nut off of here. You're going to end up having to cut it to get rid of it. And so I didn't want to have to go through that. So I went ahead and ordered up some 1-inch threaded bulkhead, so I could just put a threaded connection in there, and then I could just unthread it if I ever needed to remove the bulkhead instead of having to cut pipe. So I'm waiting for that. They ended up sending me this. This is a 1.5-inch bulkhead, and I sure wouldn't mind if this was drilled for 1.5, but it's not. It's drilled for 1 inch. So this is not going to fit through the hole that's here. So AquaCave said, go ahead, keep the 1.5 inch. They're sending me the threaded 1 inch. Now, another change on this is I'm going to be going from hard plumbing to soft plumbing. And what that means is after this gets all set up and with a thread connection right here, and then over to the one-way flow valve, right, to prevent a back siphon. From here over and down and under the tank, it's all going to be, this is braided vinyl hosing. The braiding in it helps to keep it from kinking. And so I'll be using, probably I'll buy a couple 10-foot pieces, and that'll connect to the return pumps. So I'm going to go with a soft plumbing, and that means I'm going to have to return a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to have to go back to Home Depot, but that's okay because you want to get it right. So a lot of plumbing. So, but after working on the sump, on this sump here on the 210, I realized that soft plumbing is really the way to go. And so what did I end up doing here with this? Well, first of all, it became very clear from looking at some of the videos that this box has to really be absolute level. It has to be totally level. And when you tighten up the nuts, sometimes things will rotate. So this box had rotated a little bit. So I went ahead and got it to so it's actually level. So now this box is level, as you can see. And it was a little bit off. It was a little bit down. It was a little bit down on the right. It was like a little bit like this. When I first checked it, it was a little bit like that. So it's corrected now. So that's absolutely level, and that's going to help. And what else did I do? Well, I took, you see these styrofoam pads here? These styrofoam pads are what was put between the pipes and the back of the stand to help dampen some of the noise. And every now and then I'd hear the little screech of the styrofoam. Kind of a cheap, cheesy, sketchy way of doing it. So I went ahead and I bought the actual fasteners. These are fasteners that are sold by Synergy, and I went ahead and attached them to all three of the pipes. And what they do is they actually help support the pipe. They're very high pressure on the pipe. Put some pressure on the pipe, so they actually support the weight of the pipe, and that's very cool. So it's giving a little bit of extra support to the system, and it's very easy to do because I have these unions. So I was able to detach everything right at the union, and then go ahead and get those screwed in. What else did I do? I serviced this return line. This return line was filthy. It's probably about 5 pounds of gook in it. You have to really keep them clean because it does inhibit flow. And of course, I serviced and cleaned up the valve, that little check valve, because if it gets any buildup on it, whether it's a mineral buildup or mulm or anything at all, what's going to happen is it's not going to close all the way. So it's going to, it defeats the purpose of it. Another thing I did, which I think looks a lot better, is I replaced, I had these guys here. I had these guys. These were the things that were fastening the hoses. The hoses were being fastened with these screw down sort of, you know, metal braces. And these are fine. These little collars are fine. They do the job. And I didn't think they were a problem. But I really like the way these look a lot more, and they're very inexpensive. So when I did the cleaning, I went ahead and I swapped these out. I put these clips on. They're very inexpensive. These are 1-inch clips, and they just snap down. You get them down as tight as you can by hand, and then you give them just another little click or two with a pair of pliers or a wrench or something. And they're very secure, very tight. And as you can see, nothing is leaking. What else did I do? Well, I talk about this all the time, and I felt like I was being a little bit insincere because I hadn't done it myself. But I finally got around to drilling a hole right below, and you can see it there. It'll come splashing up right below the water line on this return line. Woo, there it is. Okay, so there's a hole. I drilled a hole right below the water line on this return return line, and the reason being is that if the pump does fail, you can't really rely entirely on these check valves. These check valves are not 100% foolproof, so they might actually start to allow a little bit of water through, and eventually that would overflow your sump. So I went ahead and drilled a very small hole. I don't know, maybe a 16th of an inch, maybe smaller, on this line right below the water line, facing this way, the same flow of the water, the same way I have the actual output facing. So that gives me an extra level of security on not flooding the sump. The sump is running like a well-oiled machine. I almost flooded it because I forgot to turn the water off when I was filling the tank. Just a total rookie mistake, but I caught it in time, and you can see I got 2 socks, a whole bunch of filter media down there in case I ever need to start up a filter, a bunch of big porous sponge in the middle there, and then over here there's a green pad, and you'll hear about that in tomorrow's video. I'm going to talk about what that is, that green pad right there. So I also did a little bit of redecoration. You can see here the room's a little bright, so you're going to get a little bit of glare, but everybody's looking good. I moved this big plant over to the right, so it'll move around with the flow of the wave maker and the fluval output. I like the way it moves around. Looks kind of cool. And put some rocks around the base. Left a real big open area in the middle, and a couple rocks here, and some of the plants that I had on the right are now here on the left. Now, if you have a real good eye, you'll notice there's a little bit of brown algae on these plants. And you might wonder, well, gee, when you were making that move, why didn't you clean off the brown algae? Well, the reason for that is going to be talked about in tomorrow's video. I'm actually doing a bit of a brown algae experiment. Those of you that are Patreons, you've already seen that video because you got a sneak peek. So that's the update on the 210. As you know, I removed Skittles, and I've got about 100 different opinions on what I should do with him. Put him in and take the bicolor 500 out, rehome him. Someone even suggested that I eat him. I'm not going to eat your Skittles, I promise. Beautiful fish. So we'll see. Now he's sharing a duplex apartment with the Vieja Zonatas hiding back there in his constructed apartment. I had to take one of the green tears. There was a green tear in the 29 gallon. I kept noticing that some of my fish were just disappearing. Embers, one of my red serpas, then a cardinal tetra disappeared, just completely gone off the map. So what I ended up doing is I pulled that green tear that was rehabilitating in the 29 gallon. and brought him over to this 55. So now I have 2 small green tears in this tank, and I'm hoping that they get along. There's the Acaras, the electric blue Acaras. They're usually hiding under one of the filters. There's the one that was living in here. That's the green terror that was living in here. And the first one I showed you, that's the one I brought over. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll get along. Here's the other one. Things in the 90 are pretty stable, and I'm also doing a bit of an experiment on this tank having to do with brown algae. So I'm going to be leaving some of the brown algae alone and seeing if they respond to what I'm doing. There's Nicaragua being a tough gal. Love the look of that Jack Dempsey. AC Heckelite manages to stay invisible in this tank. There's some pretty aggressive fish in here, including this gal right here. So there you go. I've been busy, and hopefully this is now, without the green tear rehabilitating in the 29, this is now truly more a community tank. So I'll probably add a few more cardinals, replenish some of the embers. I'd love to get some more rummy nose and a couple more cories, and then start putting some more plants in it. And that would pretty much kind of top off what I can do with this tank. And then of course I've got Mr. Mustard over here. Smile for the camera, buddy. So there it is. As you can see, never a dull moment. That's must be the way I like it, because that seems to be the way I'm doing it. So always something. So as soon as I get those bulkheads in, and about 20 feet of that braided vinyl hosing, I'll go ahead and jump with both feet into the plumbing of the 300, and then decide on the substrate, and ultimately decide on what fish I'm going to be putting into that tank. So stay tuned. It's just going to get better and better. We'll keep an eye on that Jack Dempsey. We'll keep an eye on the green tear over here, and I'll decide what to do with that Skittles and beautiful fish. I guess it's entirely possible you could just let him live alone in his own tank, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm still up in the air. Any comments, any tips, any ideas, go ahead and put them in the comments, because I do listen to you, and as a matter of fact, a lot of the different direction I'm going in, or changes in direction, have had something to do with comments that you've made. And by the way, a big shout out to the person who told me how to back seat or reset the screw on the gate valve on the sump. I was able to do it, and it did stop that very, very slow, like 1 drop every hour. It was a very slow leak, but it was a leak nonetheless. And this person showed me how to go ahead and reset the screw and reset the valve. So thank you very much for that. And we are certainly a community that helps each other out a lot. And that's one of the things I love the most about the fish keeping community. We've got each other's back. So thank you, my friends. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to reading your comments either in the chat of the live stream or underneath the video after it posts. Thanks. There you have it. What do you think of these little videos that I make for these live streams? You like them? Sometimes they give me a chance to run upstairs for a second refill my coffee. One thing I did mention in that video, and by the way, hello Ross from Down Under. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope to visit your country someday. And hey, Jay Oliveres, Guppies, and Aquatics is here. And so at any rate, I didn't mention in there that I also pulled out the Shisei pump. I have a pump in there that does about 2,500 gallons per hour in the sump. I pulled that out. I broke it apart and pulled out the impeller. It has a huge magnet in it. And I pulled that magnet out, and it was really, really gunked up. And so I cleaned all that up, and I could actually tell a difference in the pressure at the output in the tank. When I turned that pump on after servicing it, I mean, it really jumped. And I had to really work with the blade at the output to focus where the water was hitting, so it'd break up the surface, but not go streaming up into the air. So I could really tell the difference after servicing that. Anything that you use that has a magnet impeller system, which is just about everything, apart from maybe air from sponge filters, but everything that we use with magnet impellers, at least a couple times a year, you should pull that apart and clean all the gunk off, because it really compromises and reduces the gallons per hour. Even on wave makers, I remember seeing something, I think it was at Bulk Reef Supply, brs.com. They had a video on, they measured the drop off in gallons per hour on wave makers, and it was dramatic. And it was from the buildup of moam and junk on the magnet and on the blades. It just really reduces the efficiency. So I spent probably about 4 hours, 5 hours, removing plumbing, drilling to attach the collars to hold the pipes. Those pipe holders are brilliant. They're from Synergy, and they applied just enough pressure to the PVC pipes so that it actually supports the weight of the pipe, so you don't have that constant pulling down on the glued or sealed areas. And yes, I will do hard plumbing. Hard plumbing is a bit quieter, and it is less likely to get algae because, of course, it's dark. And so I will do hard plumbing on the return. I'm not the return rather, but on the overflow box. I'm very familiar with that process. It's very easy. But I had such a distance to travel, and so many elbows and 45-degree angle turns to get the water back up to the returns, that I was going to be losing so much pressure, due to head pressure, having to go around those corners, those elbows. And so I figured, you know what, I can get a hose, and just with a hair dryer or a heat gun, you can treat the hose and make it so that it bends just right, so it's nice and curved and bends just right. You do need to have something very long to clean it, like a long. They sell these bristle, sort of like glass, the kind of things you'd use when you're doing dishes to clean your glasses, right? These long stemmed bristle things. They sell them with these real long metal, flexi metal handles. You just push that down the tube and it cleans it up. So it'll probably need at least, I'm thinking, between 10 and 12 feet per side. And I'll probably go with braided, even though the one on the 210 is not braided, and it's never kinked and never had a problem. And the hoses that are not braided are are less expensive. Not a lot less expensive, but a little bit less. They're not quite as expensive. Everything's more expensive now at Home Depot, but I think you pay about $2 and about $2.50 a foot for the braided vinyl tubing. It's about $2.50 a foot, maybe about 2 feet a foot for the just straight, regular, clear, clear vinyl, the clear tubing. So, at any rate, that's where all that's at. If you like those videos, let me know, and I'll continue to include them in the live streams. And excuse me, let me check. Let me check on your questions. And did I miss a super chat? Hey, we went over 100. That's great. And So I heard it was John Wallace's birthday. I know it's not your birthday, John. You know, when I was younger, we used to go to restaurants, and we would always tell the waiter that it was somebody's birthday. So what made it really funny, it wasn't so much that we would try and get a free dessert. What made it really funny is that we would never tell the person that was with us that we had told the waiter that it was their birthday. So they'd be sitting there chatting, and all of a sudden, you know, this crew would show up with the candles and sing. Oh, being young. So let's see here. Yeah, GP, you mentioned bulkheads and things like that. One of the tricks, of course, is you can use the plumber's tape, but I think plumber's tape is designed more for metal, for your metal type fixtures. So what a lot of folks will do is they will use those screw-on bulkheads, but they'll give it a good coating of silicone, a silicone coating. And so that really seals it up. I mean, you got to make sure you have it cranked down really good, right? So you don't have a leak. That's really nice and snug, and because once that silicone dries. But the good thing about silicone is that it will seal, but you can break it. In other words, you can't break the seal if you need to unscrew it. Now, the other thing too is a little layer of silicone on the gasket. So on the gasket that's inside the tank, a little bit of Aquarium clear silicone on both sides of that gasket, and then you crank down that screw, the bulkhead screw, right? And that bulkhead's going to be rock solid. And then when you screw in the piece, the adapter, you go ahead and use some of that silicone in there too. And very unlikely that you'll have a leak. Yeah. So yeah, Jerry, I think I answered that question already. I'm very familiar with the with plumbing the overflow box, the synergy box, using using PVC, and it's quieter, and it's it's less prone to get algae, and so I'm just going to go that route. And I already have I've already used it. It works great, and also keep in mind that when you with the overflow box, you need those overflows to go in an exact location and not vary from that location. They have to be dead center over the sock, right? Because each one is going to be pouring into the main and the secondary are going to be pouring into a sock. So they have to be dead center. So I can't have something soft that could shift or anything. It's got to be rock solid, dead center. Now, you could, I guess, run soft plumbing and then put it deep down in the sock, and in some ways that might even make it easier to remove the sock. But I like having the hard plumbing right directly in the center of the sock, and then a few inches down for noise and splash purposes. So, and that is also how Synergy recommends that you plumb it. That you do the plumbing on it, is that they use the hard PVC piping. That's what their videos show. So I'm going to go with the manufacturer's recommendations on that. Hello, Craig from Melbourne, Australia. Boy, we have a great contingent of people down in Australia, I've noticed. I think Australia is like right up there. It's like U.S., and then Australia, I think, is like second, or Great Britain. Great Britain and Australia, I think, are right in there for second place for the most folks that watch the channel. I think at this point I've pretty much worked out a deal with Shisei. So I'll be using a power head that I got from Jerry, which is a Shisei, and then I'll be using another one that I'm getting from Jay Wilson, and also two of the Syncra 5.0. They're called Syncra 5.0. Pumps inside the Sump. So it'll be a dual pump system, and each of those pumps is adjustable. So I think it has a top end of 2,500 or 2,700 gallons per hour, but you can adjust it, fine tune it. I've got a feeling with the amount of distance the water is traveling, I'll probably use them both at full power, and then and go from there. So that's what I'm suspecting. Hey, Todd. Todd comes in with $9.99. Thank you, buddy. I've missed the last few months. Are you still doing discus? Well, Todd, are you going to ask for a refund if I say no? No refunds on the super chat. Discus are still on the table. I'll tell you, it's in all honesty, it's probably, in light of what I've got going on right now, probably a year out. And I'll tell you, I had this crazy discussion with Joe over at Glass Cages, and he talked about replacing the 255-gallon tanks behind me with a 7-foot wide tank that is maybe 18 to 20 inches deep, front to back, but about 23, 24 inches tall, and have that be a planted discus tank behind me, replacing the 255 gallons that are currently behind me. You can see them back there. So imagine that, instead of those two tanks back there, imagine that being a 7-foot wide, 24, maybe, I don't want it too tall because then I can't reach the bottom, but have it be a just this beautiful giant show tank. So anyway, we were brainstorming, but that project is a year out. I mean, I've got this monstrosity behind me here that I need to concentrate on. I am like so far away from it's a little bit overwhelming. So at any rate, but yeah, that's about a year out. But I still I'm looking forward to discus, and it's the one fish that my wife says she would love to have. So it might end up being a tank, a smaller grow out discus tank in the house that then later on phases into a big tank behind me. I now have my daughter's bonus room, which is over the garage. I wouldn't put a very big tank up there because, of course, it's on a second floor. But might just she moved out. She finally got her own place, and with a couple roommates, and we are now officially empty nesters. And it was a bittersweet moment for a parent, but it's great. I'm so happy for her right here in Nashville. So we have that room available now. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to be doing something with that, and that would be a great place for a small tank. Chris G, that is the big question. That is the big question. I don't know. I don't know yet. I really don't. I really just want to get the plumbing. I want to get the plumbing nailed down. And when I'm going to have to really, really deal with it is when I select substrate. Because if it's going to be for African cichlids, I'm going to go with an aragonite, crushed coral type of substrate. If it's going to be for South American, I'll probably end up going with a maybe a black diamond blasting or something like that. We'll see. Even though I'll tell you something, the Zonatus behind me that I put. See him here behind me. If he's even out. I don't know if he's even out. He's hiding behind the heater. Anyway, that Zonatus is in a tank with aragonite, and he's doing fine. So, am I seeing double here, or did we get another super chat from? Is that another super chat from Naomi? That's amazing. Anyway, you folks are awesome. You're so generous and helpful. Unbelievable. So, Ben, will you be keeping Glass Cages in business with that whole garage filled? Did you see the video where I took a visit to their place? It's a massive, massive place, and I represent a very small fraction of their business. I'll tell you who gave him a lot of business was the Cichlid Shack. He ordered like a couple truckloads of 75-gallon aquariums for his new facility over in Tempe, Arizona, and so he was going on and on about how the tanks were so heavy because the way Glass Cages builds the tanks, they reinforce the bottom with glass reinforcements on the bottom. They reinforce the corners with a long triangular strip is put into the corners of the tank, and they double brace the top. I mean, so he said the 75-gallon tanks were heavier or as heavy as the 125s, and he said they were battleships. He said he'd never have to replace them. So he gave him a lot of business. I'm certainly not going to keep him in business. But Jerry Martin and I are going there next week. So stay tuned. I'm sure Jerry's going to get some footage, and I'm going to pick up the glass lids for the 300-gallon while I'm there. And things are marching along nicely. So let me see if you folks have any questions. I know Jerry's going to be looking at possibly picking out a tank. Yes, we all love Naomi, Solar King Ronnie. Naomi is a big supporter and friend of this channel and is very appreciated. I mean that, Naomi. As are really all of you are. What I said at the end of that video is very true. I mean, you folks are it's a very special community, and I belong to several fish communities. This community is very, very special, and the way you communicate with each other and the way you interact with me, it is very, very cool and very appreciated. All right, any questions? Ask them now, my friends. We are starting to run down. Jerry's got fingers crossed to get a tank. You will not go wrong. Sean is obviously a fan of the American cichlids. What's your favorite, Sean? What's your favorite cichlid, my friend? You like those viejas or the severums, the heroes? For those of you who came late, if you anyone who super chats, yes, I guess it's like if you're in the United States, anything at $5 or more, I'll send you some Sarah, the Sarah sample. And your bigger super chats, $10 or more, I'll include Ben's special blend. I'll send you a baggie. As I mentioned before, it's all legal. It's a combination of Piscine, Extreme, and Sarah. It's a little packet I put together. Also, excuse me. Also, if you'd like some of my stickers that are running out, I have some stickers left. Garage Gang, one of my favorites, and Cichlid Shack, and Cichlids Coffee, and I also have some glass cages. Send me your email. Send me your complete name and mailing address to ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. I'll do my best to get them to you as soon as I can. I do have some very cool, some sexy, sexy. I love it when people describe it that. How was that meal? How's that restaurant? Oh, it's kind of sexy. Really? The mailers. And I'm dying to use them. So at any rate, another person from far away, Jock from South Africa. Hello. Thank you for sitting in. And Chris G, I like them all. Sean, that's going to be a lot of fun going to the Cichlid Shack. I'm going to get a lot of footage there. I'm going to film a lot of his tanks. We're going to shoot some photographs that he can use on his webpage for some of the fish. I send him pictures of my fish sometimes, like that awesome picture of the gar. I mean, the picture that he has of the Malawi gar, it's like it's blurry and it doesn't come close to showing the real beauty of that crazy looking fish. So I sent him my picture. I said, hey, look, why don't you just use this picture for your gar? Anyway, so he's so busy. I mean, he is so busy. So it's hard for him to get, kind of get going on that kind of stuff. So let's see. Ross, it's funny. I had that exact discussion with Denny, and Denny's not here today. He had to go do something. He had some prior commitments, so we're not seeing Denny Riddell today on the admins, on the moderators. But I was having a discussion with Denny. We were talking on the phone, and we were talking about discus with a school of neons and cardinals. That'd be so beautiful. And I think the cardinals can take. They do better at the higher temperatures because you want to keep your discus in the 80, 81, 82. You want to keep them nice and warm. And so that was a conversation. Hey, Amber Key, got my Sarah food 2 days ago. Thanks so much. It looks like they're enjoying the insect variety. Very, very cool. Amber, could you do me a favor and send me an email with any feedback on the food? The Klaus over at Sarah wants feedback. They're really interested in like really fine tuning the product for the for America, for the U.S. So send me your feedback, and I'll go ahead and forward it to the folks at Sarah. Frankie will not be getting a custom tank or a sump. Frankie, I'm not going to lie. It's expensive. Now you can find sometimes folks that have left the hobby or have changed careers and now they can't keep fish, and they'll sell their custom made tank for a lot less than they paid for it just to make the room, just to get rid of it. So you can find sometimes deals on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, even on eBay, but you just got to watch out. I mean, buyer beware. But I picked up a 150-gallon acrylic with a custom-made stand and a sump, and it included a real pump that was wonderful. And what else did it included? Several items, skimmer that I never used, but it included a full sump, a pump, and 150-gallon acrylic, and the canopy and the custom-made stand. $400. $400 in Orange County, California. And anyway, I played it forward. I sold it for about the same amount when I left California. So I passed on the deal to the next person. And I think I included more stuff. I included the Dursa overflow. I included the substrate. And anyway, I gave a good deal to the person that bought it. So anyway, if you look around, you can get some deals. But I'm not going to lie. They are expensive. They are expensive. So if custom order wanted to fit a specific space in your house, you're gonna. I mean, think about it. All the labor involved, the custom cutting of glass, the redos. I mean, let's look at glass cages. If they do a seam, and there's a bubble, they scrap the tank. They scrap it. And they start over. So they've got a lot of cost involved there. So I know during certain times of year when they have wide changes in temperature, things like that, sometimes you can have problems with getting these tanks glued together. So at any rate, yeah, they cost more. And certainly if you get these glass tanks that are reinforced, they weigh a ton. So you got to have a very reinforced floor and all that good stuff. Savini. Sean likes the Savini. I couldn't pick which one I like the most. I love the Severums, the red spotted Severums. I love their attitude and the way they look. Geophagus are nuts. When you look at a Geophagus, they're just crazy. The amount of color that they have blowing up on their body, and the way they're constantly working the sand. I mean, they're just crazy good-looking fish. I love them. Jeff Hester, who wanted to know about spray bars? Right at the beginning of the chat, if you scroll back, somebody was asking about fluval spray bars. Solar King Ronnie, you have a barbershop in Queens? That's so cool. All right. So, last chance for questions. We're on the hour. You know, I've been running over recently, and I haven't minded it. I love spending time with you folks, and if you're willing to hang in there, I'll hang in there. But I don't want to take up too much of your weekend. And I've got a lot to do here, and, you know, I've got to put time in with my granddaughter. So I think I'll post a picture next week. She is just absolutely gorgeous. And I know I'm looking at her through grandfather eyes, so I'm a little biased, but she is something. All right. So thank you to everybody who stepped up and super chatted. Be sure to send me your full name and mailing address to the ben.o.cichlid@gmail. And if you super chatted enough for the food, be sure you want the food. If you want some stickers, go ahead and ask for some stickers and just email me. I'll get some to you as long as I got them. And thank you, everybody. If you're getting just stickers, you're just going to get them in a plain envelope. If you're getting food, I'll bubble wrap it and put it in one of these brand new cool envelopes. And these might become collector items. You never know. I doubt it. So, Jerry's Fish Room, why are you hanging with us when she's... You know, Jerry, maybe you'll meet her when you come visit. Let me tell you something. She is something. She is something. And she's saying daddy. And Mama's getting a little bit upset because she hasn't said Mama yet, but she's saying Dada. All right. I'm not going to start talking about granddaughters because then I'll be boring you and I'll go on and on. It's like if you ask me about my kids. Don't ever ask me about my kids unless you have an hour, because I will just go on and on. Thank you, my friends, for sitting in, and look for tomorrow's video. And tomorrow we're going to have a video on a very popular topic. It is a topic on brown algae. Do I have a picture of that? Thought I had a picture of that somewhere here. Anyway, look for tomorrow's video. It'll be on brown algae and an experiment that I'm currently conducting on brown algae. And we'll see how that goes. I'll be keeping an eye on the aquariums to see if they're doing a little bit better after taking the steps that I took. On first glance, even though it's been about 48 hours, I think I'm seeing a difference, but we'll see. So tune in tomorrow for that. And Fisherman Marcus, they're baiting me with, what about your kids? Solar King Ronnie, New Generation, Barbara and Sunnyside. All right. I'm going to get going here. Thank you, everybody. You're the best. You rock. And I will see you next week with my friend Jerry Martin. And check out Jerry's Fish Room. And that's it for me. Thank you, folks. Have a great week and a great weekend. And a great Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.